Welcome, friends. Today we will dwell upon one of the pain point of every investor, especially like us, these working people who do not have so much of time. So we will try to jot down some framework which will help you to do fundamental analysis, equity research. We can say limited resource equity research because we don't have so much resources at our disposal except internet, annual reports, and what is publicly available. We don't have manpower like analysts. We don't have entry to companies. We cannot have access to government policy makers. So we have limited resources, what is, whatever are publicly available, and we will try to analyze those things. Up to now, we have dwelled upon how to read annual reports, profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow. Then we learn different components of financial ratios, this profitability ratio, leverage ratio, operating ratio, valuation. So we have all components available. Now we have to frame a structure which will help us to analyze, especially fundamental analysis of any stock. With these limited resources, we will have certain Q&A, question and answers, try to regions, and if you are able to understand and find out answers of those questions, then we will able to understand the business. This will be our stage one. Once stage one complete, then we will move to stage two, further taking with take lists, and then ultimately we'll see valuations. So all this we will see one by one in a small videos form so that it will not become cumbersome for you. So what today will do is first part, understanding the business, and what are the questions and answers we should find to understand any business. Let us share our mind map, understanding business. So we have listed down 18 components or parameters. It can be more, but at least we should develop understanding these 18 questions. Try to find out 18 questions, and you will have some thought provoking things, and it will develop your reasonability, some special, some niche for you, and you can make your own framework based on this. You can eliminate some of listed here. You may add something, and you can make your own blend of question and answer, which will help you to analyze any stock. First in, what does the company do? So this will be first step. Of course, we will come to know about any company what they are doing from their annual report. They are listing down all their activities there. Second thing, what are the who are the promoters? What are their backgrounds? This is also very important, and this helps us understand promoters' background, whether they have any inclination to certain political parties, or have some criminal background or don't have a reputable background, this will definitely show their corporate governance structure, and we can expect fair dealing, of course, with their equals. Maybe they are drilling properly, but we are retail investors. So whether they will have respect for retail investors, so it is very pertinent to understand who are the promoters and what are their backgrounds. Third is what they what do they manufacture in case it is a manufacturing company. If it is a finance company, then we will mm, should see what sort of financing they are doing. Or if it is a educational company, what sort of education they are doing. So we must understand what is their core competence, what are they in business, what sort of business they are doing. So it is also important to understand this one. Fourth is how many plants do they have and where they located. This will give us wonderful insight whether they are concentrated in one city or different city. This location of the factory or plants are at prime locations or outside some outskirts. So this will give you valuations, wonderful valuations. Usually land purchased at the acquisition time, this same value is written in book value or books of accounts of a company. But if it is a prime location, then their actual value will be far more than listed or written value. So this will give valuation aspect, and we can understand this company is far more valuable than its book value or written value is showing. So we can find in this way some undervalued company which actual value is far more. So it is very important to understand their plants locations, all those. Another thing, are they running the plant in full capacity? It is very important to understand or know if they are using the plant at optimal capacity, then of course they will be able to garner optimum profitability. If they are not able to run at full capacity, that means they are not able to sell their product. And of course, this profitability and ultimately this earning will be affected. And company price cannot go up, and we cannot benefit out of such company which are not able to run at full capacity. Yes, of course, we have to understand cyclicity also, and in which cycle they are, even they are in full cycle, how they are using their plant capacity. So we have to understand fully, and then we can have our own inference. Sixth, what kind of raw material is required? This is also important. Whether this raw material is government regulated like coal or it is open source available, where there are some constraints to acquire or to procure those raw materials, whether these raw materials dependent on other countries, whether company have their own pricing power to get those or procure those raw materials. So these small information will give insight about company manufacturing capacity. If they can procure raw materials easily, they have their pricing power, then definitely they can have their set margin. If they cannot control raw material price, then it will affect their margin. And of course, ultimately, this EPS earning per share will be affected, and we cannot expect very good result from such company. Seventh point, who are the company's clients or end users? It is also very important. Some company do their business to business only. Some do to retailers and small end users. So we have to see what are their products and who are their clients and ultimately who is their end users. This will also give some good insights about a company and how they will be going to do in future. Eighth point is who are their competitors. It is very important to understand and know their competitors, whether they will be able to keep their momentum in future or whether competitors will give tough time to this company and cannot grow as per their likely positions. They will have constraints to grow, scale up the business. If competitors are not so strong, company is very strong, number uno position, then good. Otherwise, we have to see and think not to go ahead with this company. Who are the major shareholders of the company? This will also give a good insight whether FIIs are heavily invested or DIIs are heavily invested or some as investors or HNI are invested there. So if those people having major chunk of shareholding, then of course it will good give a good company status. If retailers are more, then definitely there is a red flag. If BIIs, FIIs is away from any such company, we should be also away from that very company. Do they do they plan to launch new products, any new products? Here two things comes. If they are launching the products in their own core competence area, new products, new innovation coming, then it is good. It will increase their margin, increase their product basket, and of course, they will be able to sell more. It will increase their revenue and ultimately profitability. If outside core competence, then it may be a red flag. They are not able to enhance their core capability. That is why they are looking here and there and simply launching some products to create or enhance their revenue. So we have to see if such thing happening and try to deep dive, understand whether it is profitably managed or no. Sometimes they launch new products and it may not be a profitable proposition. Then it will be a red flag. Do they plan to expand to different countries? This can be a good sign also, or may not be a good sign. We have to see in which country where they try to expand and whether that will give impetus to revenue growth, whether this expansion is strategically in line with their core competence, it will enhance their core competence, then it is good. Otherwise, we should be away from such companies. We can see the case of Suzlon Energy. They have expanded in different countries, but they were not able to manage, and ultimately downfall happened. So we have to see such expansion with pinch of salt and try to understand. If you are able to understand, then go ahead. If no, we should back out from such company. What is the revenue mix? Which product sells the most? Of course, we should see this also. We can see the example of ITC. Even now, their major revenue source is cigarette only. They are heavily dependent on us. They try to have different revenue. Of course, they try to move in FMCG and so many places, so many sectors. But up to now, they are not so much successful, dependent on cigarette business. So we have to see their revenue mix. If revenue X is diverse and giving equal, or we can say giving good result, each are independent and have their own understanding, own standing in the market, then okay, it can be a good. We have to see in details and deep dive. Do they operate under a heavy regulatory environment? Again, this can be a positive and negative both. If heavily regulated, then it can be a good because new competitors cannot enter. This will be deterrence for any new entry. So they will have their own monopoly or duopoly. So this can be a good. Another thing, it can be a bad also because being heavily regulated, they cannot have choice. They cannot have their innovation to scale up, to expand. They have to work within confinement of regulation only. So we have to see how the regulation environment is, whether it is good for company or bad for company. We have to find answer for this. Another thing is who are their bankers, auditors. This is very important also. If their auditors and bankers are reputable one, we can have trust. If their auditors are not much known, integrity, then of course we have to see and deep dive again and try to find out if something negative or something positive is there. If you are getting positive vibe, okay, go ahead. Otherwise, we have to again back out. How many employees do they have? Again, this is also important. If company working in such a sector where they are too much dependent on laborers or skilled manpower, unskilled manpower, that proposition we have to see whether they will be able to manage this labor incentive business and whether they can scale up. So if the business is labor intensive, this can be also a impediment to that very company. Or maybe if they are managing, if their plants or factory are located in such location where this can be easily, manpower can be easily managed, they can get manpower easily, then it can be a boon for also. So we have to see how many employees they have and where their plant is and how they are managing their employee base, manpower base. What are the entry barriers for new participants to enter the industry? So this is also a good thing. We definitely see these barriers. If it is easy to enter any participants, then it is not good at all. We can say like some these garments or export such a business, any can enter, then it is not good. If they have some nice, like even in this technical clothing or something they have, other company cannot easily enter, then it is good. So we have to see this entry barrier point also. Is the company manufacturing products that can be easily replicated in a country with cheap labor? Then it is a red flag. They must have something which cannot be easily replicated. Then only they have their moat. Otherwise, if anyone can easily replicate, then they will be sitting on a time bomb, and any company can come and replicate the product and they will be out of the business. Does the company have too many subsidiaries? This can be a red flag also. If they are creating a small, so many subsidiaries, and there are too much inter-party transactions happening, that can be a red flag because through inter-party transactions, they may be appropriating some finances. So we have to see, like earlier, this Mirza Internationals, there were so many inter-party transactions. Now they are having some good governance. So it can be a red flag, but their subsidiaries are unique in nature and supporting the main company, core company, then it can be a good one. So we have to see how many subsidiaries they have and for what purposes they are, whether they are contributing to main business or no, or where there are too many inter-party transactions. So all these things we have to see, and then we can come to know whether we should go ahead with this company investment. So these are the some of the thought-provoking question and answer framework, which you should find out answers. In one page, you can basically write down answers of all these things. If you are able to find answers for all, then it is okay. Then go ahead with a stage two analysis application of the checklist we have already discussed in one of videos. In description, I will give that also. You should see. Of course, we will little deep dive again more apart from that one in another video and try to see how we can do equity research in limited way. This is from today. Thank you. Bye bye.